We're back again. I know it's been a long time, but this is the At Haynes House podcast. I am Terri Haynes, and I have a very special guest with me today. Introducing the man, the myth, the legend that I keep talking about and everybody keeps wanting to see him. Brian, please call me Brian Haynes.
Hey, call me Brian.
So it has been a minute since we've been here. So let's talk about, when I do a little admin thing, tell you who we are. So I, on social media, and Terri J. Haynes, Facebook, Instagram. I don't really use my Instagram account for my personal, but if you want to friend me, sure, go ahead. But it's not much to see. My Ravelry name is Butterflutter.
And my Ravelry name is At Haynes House. Don't ask me how I got that. I think I stole it from my wife.
So if you go on Ravelry and you look for At Haynes House, you're gonna get him.
You're gonna get me. You see all my beautiful projects. But that's me. I'm not really a social media person, so that's who I am.
So the shop social media is Instagram is at.haynes.house.yarns. At Facebook, I am at Haynes House Yarns. I'm not on Twitter. Listen, something went wrong with Twitter. That's all I'm going to say. And on Ravelry, we have an At Haynes House Yarns Ravelry group. And of course, you found us on YouTube. So if you're watching this video, please subscribe, like down below, ring the bell so when we do finally get to the point where we do a video, you will get a notification. Also, I have a newsletter and you can sign up on it on my link tree on my Instagram page or in my Ravelry group. So, the moment I know you all been waiting for so long, it's story time. Okay, so for this story time, our lives have been crazy. And we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been bananas. So I have been creating new colors for shows and things like that, but I haven't been uploading videos, so I haven't had the chance to tell the story. So I can't do them all, but I picked out a few that I want to tell the story of. So first we're going to start with this one, this beautiful green color. It's called Son of an Alien. So for those of you who don't know, my husband is from Barbados. So he is an alien in my mind.
The best type. I don't adopt you.
Okay, so he's an alien. So I call my sons of aliens because they're aliens. So we just thought we'd play with this pretty fun green alien color to represent the son of alien. That is in the shop. The next one is banana. Okay, so the story behind this is my sons are gamers, and one of their favorite games when they were younger was Donkey Kong. So in Donkey Kong, when you get a bunch of bananas or he does something with the bananas, it'll say bananas. So very bright, pretty, light yellow color, bananas. Next is baby monster. Yay. So for those who I haven't said this to before, my youngest son is 6'6", and he would say, "I'm your baby." And I said, "You are my baby, but you're too big to be a baby, but you could be a baby monster." So baby monster is this gray and has fluorescent purple speckles on it. So that's baby monster. The next color is Lellow. So when my kids are younger, all three of them could not say yellow. So here is Lellow. That's what they called it, Lellow. And the last one is something that is near and dear to our hearts in the Haynes house. So because he's from the Caribbean, we love curry. We don't have taste buds. Like, food is so hot here. Like, we have to, like, when we make food for potlucks, we have to say, are we making this for Americans or are we making this for foreigners? Because it'll be so hot that Americans can't eat it. One of our favorite dishes, which is kind of pricey for a family of 5, is goat. Curry goat. So this colorway is curry goat. So all of these colorways are available in multiple weights in the shop right now because they've already been sold. Some people have already gotten some goodies, so they are available. So, but this story time is not over. We have some other fun things to show you.
Okay, so I've been very busy, as Terri talked about, with the shop, and so I've come up with some bags. And one thing Terri wanted me to do is to have a bag that you can hang on the table. So what you have here is weighted, nice round bottom, so you fit your big old bulky yarn in it. Boop, and it hangs there, and you can knit with it. So very, very, very good.
Practical.
And practical. The next one I have is a very small bag. It looks very small until you open it. Ta-da! And again, this becomes more like a yarn bowl. And it can hold all your yarn right in there. See? All right. I think this one is one of my favorites. Just because the pattern and I love the colors. And this thing is huge. Nice round bag.
Okay, hold it open. So we can get
everything.
At least.
And your project.
Okay, so that was 5 skeins of yarn.
And the beautiful thing about it is it's drawstring. Close it up, and you keep it moving.
Listen,
so if you have pets, your pets stay out of your project.
There is something just incredibly wonderful about a drawstring project bag. I'm like, keep your snaps, keep your buttons, give me a drawstring all day, all night.
Well, let's look at another kind of design. And this one was a very useful one for me. It's a knotted bag, so pretty much all you do is stick it through here. Of course, after you put your yarn in there, through your wrist as you walk, and you can knit while you move. Knit on the go, which is a beautiful thing. Again, whatever people want, keep them out of your bag. They never see what's going on, only on the outside. So this is a beautiful project that I really love. And I think
I'm just apparently taking all these bags from him.
It's okay.
I mean, I would literally take them all, but I have a problem.
She has tried to take them all.
We're
not going to talk. She has the bag problem.
This is not a therapy podcast.
Okay.
This is a knitting podcast.
It's a knitting podcast.
Listen, because if we go into my bag problem, that's going to just do it.
Okay. The next bag is actually one of my favorites here, and it's a big pocket bag. So again, this is actually bigger than the last one I just showed you. Drawstring. And you have 4 pockets all the way around. You can actually stick your knitting needles, your straight knitting needles in there, and they not bother anything at all, okay? So, wonderful bag to have. And lastly, again, I love colors. So most of my bags have a whole lot of colors in it. This is a round one, just almost like the other one. The other one had pockets on it, didn't it? No, it didn't. I have one with pockets that are like this.
Asking me, I didn't make the bags.
And again, same thing. This one, I love the floral prints and the colors. But this, I have one with pockets on it. So that is what came off my needles, sewing needles.
So all of these, again, are available in the shop. Just hop in. You'll see the picture. Order them up. You can always use another good project bag. So hop on over to my Etsy shop. It's at Haynes House Yarns. Remember, when you type it in Etsy, don't put any spaces in it. So it's just at Haynes House Yarns. And then you should be able to see all of these products and go ahead and put an order in. So while we're talking about shop stuff, let's talk about an upcoming event. Well, 2 upcoming events, but one of them is more relevant to the shop than the other. First upcoming event is it's Brian's birthday.
Happy birthday to me!
No. Anyways, so
see how I get treated.
So we
send me some love.
No. So we normally, as a couple, do knit-alongs at least 4 times a year. So we do my birthday, our anniversary, his birthday, and New Year's.
Yes.
And the New Year's one normally is pretty short because we start like the last 2 weeks of December and go through. So it's time. Brian's birthday is coming up shortly, so it's time to start a new knit-along. So because it's him,
I love socks.
I don't love socks.
But she loves me, therefore she would knit socks.
Yeah, whatever. So this knit-along will be a pair of socks. They are the Bijou socks. I hope I'm saying that right. By Yellow Cosmo. So if you hop onto Ravelry, you'll see the pattern. It's a very nice pattern. I might actually plug a picture in into this video here. It's a really nice pattern. It uses 2 colors. So you have a very small window of color work, and then the rest of the sock is the same color, but you do need 2 colors. So what we're going to do is to use up all of the yarns we're going to make 2 pair of socks, but we're going to invert them. So one pair of socks will be mostly one color with the window, the contrasting color. Then the next one will flip, and then the sock will be mostly the contrast color on the first one, and then the main color on the other one will be the color work. So we're really excited about it. It's got twisted stitches in it.
Yes.
It's a lovely little thing.
It keeps you awake.
So if you want to join in, so first of all, you need 2 skeins of yarn, okay? And from the picture, if you look at the picture of the project, you need high contrast, okay? It'll look better with high contrast. Also, you probably want to do tonals.
Yes.
More than you want to do variegated. Maybe a speckle, but if you do a speckle and a tonal, maybe. So pick your 2 skeins of yarn. Of course, you could pick 2. Look at let's see now, but maybe these 2.
That would be good. Oh yeah.
So this would be your whole sock. This would be your window, and then on the other pair of socks, you switch it around. This would be your whole sock. This would be your window. So you need 2 colors. I will be doing a Ravelry thread, so if you need help picking your colors, you want us to comment on what you think you want to put together, does something work or something doesn't work, you can jump on that thread, post up your pictures of your yarn, ask your questions. We will be there for the whole length of the knit along, which is this November the 10th to December the 16th. That's how long the knit along is going to go. Let's hope we can get 2 pair of socks done. So talk about it in the thread. Post up your colors. We'll talk about them. We'll give you some suggestions. I may even pair up some sock colors from yarn shops and put some pictures in there so you can see if you wanted to get yarn shop colors for your yarn, and you can go ahead and pick those. So we will be doing a giveaway of 1 skein of yarn after this whole sock knit along is over. So at the end, if you enter by posting on that thread. So whenever you post, that will be your entry into the giveaway. Only on Ravelry. It's not going to be, if I put up a picture on Instagram, you comment there, I won't enter it. It has to be in Ravelry. It's a little bit easier administratively to do it that way, to kind of keep track of all the entries. And then at the end, so we'll pick a winner from those comments. You may get a pair of sock yarn for Christmas. Santa might send you something if you enter. So hop over to the Ravelry page. I'm going to put the thread up. As a matter of fact, by the time this video posts, the thread might be already up. Post your colors, comment, talk. I hate it. I love it. Whatever. You don't even have to finish the socks. If you get on there and say, y'all are bananas for trying to make 2 pairs of socks in a month, that will be an entry. We'll take that. And I do feel like I am a little bananas for knitting 2 pairs of socks. You know what? You know what? I thought, and this is crazy town.
Oh Lord.
I thought about doing 2 at a time.
I'm not that grown yet to do 2 pairs of socks.
I mean, but the problem is, I have single sock syndrome, like, whoa, and you want me to knit 4 socks? I might have to do 2 at a time. So we'll see.
I might try it.
We'll see. We'll see how.
Yes.
I need to get in there and look at the pattern and see how hard that twisted stitches are and what the pattern looks like. But it's the pattern that is only at the top, so it may work. We'll see. The last time I tried to do 2 at a time, disaster. So we'll see if that actually works. So make sure you get over there and enter all of the things, comment, and then you're good.
Right.
So let's talk about the obvious. What are we wearing?
Yes.
I think the
gorgeous,
wonderful things ever. Okay, so this is a new-ish, I guess a month old.
Yes.
A new cowl pattern called The Snuggle is Real by Maxim Sir. And I hope I said that right. I think it's Sir. Maxim Sir. It is a DK weight pattern, slip stitches, and the snuggle starts because you turn it and you put it's supposed to be double weight lace weight, but we just decided to do fingering on the inside. So you have a lining in the inside. When I tell you this thing is hot, okay, so like
I'm dying. I don't like it.
You can take it off. You can take it off. Take it off and model. Okay, you be Vanna White. It feels heavy. Like it if you live in a colder state, this is for you. So it is very, very easy. It does have a drawstring. Okay, so
I did a drawstring.
Okay, it's an I-cord drawstring, and I probably should have put the drawstring in before I closed this up.
No.
So what do you do? You just sew it in?
Yeah.
You take a safety pin?
Yeah, take a safety pin in.
Okay, all right.
Right through.
All right. So I didn't put the drawstring in mine because mine's is shorter than the pattern calls for by an inch. So
mine's is shorter by 1/2 inch.
So I just thought, I tried his on when it finished, and I was just really like, that's too much for me. Like, I can actually make it shorter. So I made mine shorter. So my colors are Sleepy Train is the pink, Baby Monster is the dark color, and the inside is Sweet Tart.
So my colors are and Most Excellent Heart, one of Elizabeth Bennet.
No.
What is it?
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen. And why call her Elizabeth Bennet?
Well, she
is part of Jane Austen.
Anyways.
And Gray Not Gray. Mm-hmm. And on the inside, Uncle Brian.
Yay! So all of these colors are in the shop. So if you want to whip one up like ours, you want to... the inside color, I believe, is really supposed to be
a complete contrast.
Significantly different than what's on the outside. So I love mine's. I wore it today, sort of, kind of, a little bit. And we're in Maryland, and it is a little cooler than it has been. Like this week, we had a 77 degree day
yes.
with thunderstorms and tornadoes in October. It was Halloween, actually. So we're just getting to the point where it's cold enough to start wearing a knitwear thing, but not the whole, like I couldn't wear a sweater and a coat and all this. This thing is very warm. So go ahead, make yourself a Snuggle is Weird. Like sometimes with us, a knit along will break out between the two of us, which is rare because we really do like totally different patterns, but sometimes it gets good and we're like, yes! So we cast this on at the Frederick Fiber Fest. So if you saw us at the Frederick Fiber Fest and you saw us doing the provisional cast on, this is what we were working on. Yeah, so this is it. So it's finished. Of course he finished before I did, but I'll tell you why I didn't finish relatively at the same time. So, you got another finished object, don't you?
Yes, my other finished object is called, this is called Butterbeer
by Tamy Gore.
So my wife came up to me. We were preparing for the show, and she said, "I want something in our colors." Mm-hmm. And so this is what we did. Mm-hmm. So very simple, very easy, very quick. Boom, 2 days.
So the colors in this is 2:00 in the morning, dark. This is Kaduna Squash. And this is Silver Bullet. So I just thought that was a really great color combination. So again, if you saw him at the Frederick Fiber Fest, this was the cowl he was wearing. Most people came up and just kind of petted him, but didn't ask him to take it off. So this is the pattern. Really easy. Another DK weight. Yes. DK weight. I noticed something. There's a lot of DK weight, which I'm happy because for many, many years it was all about the fingering. And now it's all about the DK and all about the mohair. I'm not doing the mohair. I'm so sorry. I'm allergic. I feel like it's up my nose all the time. Makes lovely fabric, but I can't do the mohair.
I think for me, I like the fingering because I'm a hot body.
Yeah,
and so it's better for me. Stuff like this, it has to be freezing cold. But again, I love it so much, I will suffer with overheating with this pattern.
Well, standing on the bus stop, it will
definitely help me.
Okay, so what are we working on? I have 2 works in progress. No, let me stop lying. Let me stop lying right there. I have a bunch of them. I just need to sort them out and figure out which one is going to keep living and which ones are going to get frogged. So I finished this. I knew the knit along was coming, so I said I need something between like now and the knit along to hold me off because I kind of finished. And all of my other whips are really long, like they're cowls and sweaters and all this kind of stuff. So I cast on a worsted weight Dana. So there it is. That's how far I've gotten. I cast this on, I feel like Friday. That's a day's worth of work. Very fun. So this is by Byron Knitworks. Byron Handmade. I'll drop a link. And this is her hat Dana. So as you can see, I'm always on the quest to get something to fit over this head, and I think this might do it. So it's really simple. Once you get the pattern down, it's mindless. Like it's stockinette pearl on the back. So this Hatnana is done in this colorway, and this is there are too many commas in this sentence. And I'm just going to tell you the story behind this because this is in the shop, but I never told you the story. So when I wrote my first book, he was helping me edit. So when you write a book, you have line edits, which are kind of content edits. No, you have content edits, which is you switch point of view in the middle of the thing. This character's motivation is wrong. This book could be set anywhere. Your setting is off. That's content. Line edits are you read the book line by line to like find the mistakes. So we were doing a pretty substantial, it was a 300-page book. We were doing a pretty substantial line edit, and we were at it like long periods of time. As a matter of fact, we divided the book in half. Yes. And I took the first half, he took the second half. So one night we were editing a long night, and we went to bed, and he rolled over and said to me, "There are too many commas in that sentence." And I said, "What?" He said, there are too many commas in that sentence. And I was like, "What sentence?" Because, me being who I am, if you start talking in your sleep, I'm going to try and make you keep talking. But he didn't. He didn't take the bait. He just kind of rolled over. And I was like, so that was Colorway. So it is dyed gray with black speckles on it.
Beautiful.
So I really like this color, and I think it's going to look great on my hair. So that's my first work in progress. And the second one has been with me for a while. And you saw it at Frederick Fest if you saw me. It is my Ranunculus sweater by Midori House. I think it's Midori House. I'm pretty certain it's Midori. Now let me tell you why I remember. I did not write that down in my show notes. Let me tell you why I know that the name is Midori. Midori is a character on My Hero Academia. That's the only reason why I remember that it was Midori, right? It's Midori. It's Deku is Midori. Yes, because that's what All Might calls him. Anyways, if you don't watch anime, forget all that. So here it is. Here's my Ranunculus. And I wore it to Frederick Fest, and it just didn't... I finished it, rushed to finish it, and it didn't hit me right. It was kind of hit me in the most unflattering place, like right across my middle. So I said, okay, after Frederick Fest, I'm going to rip the bottom out and I'm going to lengthen it because I have plenty of yarn left. So this is my Ranunculus. The colorway is, but you would look so cute. So, and the story behind that is I don't really like pink. When my daughter was 6, we went shopping. She picked up this pink shirt and she's like, "Look, Mommy." And I was like, "I don't like pink." She said, "But you would look so cute." So that's this color. And so I don't know. I tried it on the other day, and I felt like it was long enough, so I've started the twisted stitch rib on the bottom to bind off. One of the great things about it is even if I get here and I don't like it, I can take it out and do it again. Also, I need to block it again. So this was really a really cute little sweater to wear. I love this pattern. This is my second one, and we'll talk about my third one later. So that's that.
All right. So again, I love socks. And so here is my sock with what's on my needles. This one is called Slip It Simple Sock by Treasure Goddess. Mm-hmm. And this yarn, little quick story, they call me the yarn whisperer. So people who have yarn and like, it's ugly. So they give it to me and I make very beautiful projects out of it.
It's nice socks.
Yes. Again, very easy slip stitch. And I'm a toe up sock maker. I don't like cuff down pretty much.
I didn't check to see what the...
That's cuff down.
It has to be cuffed down.
Yeah, because you gotta do the flap and all that good stuff.
I prefer cuff down, so it's getting better for me.
I'll suck it up and do it, but I get 2 socks out of it, so I'll suck it up and do it.
Okay, that's true. Well, if it's a chart.
It's a chart. I see if I can flip it and do toe up. That's what I want to do.
If it's a chart, I don't see why you can't. Because you would just read the chart from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
Just ignore us while we discuss this. We'll figure it out. We'll say in the Ravelry group whether or not what he's planning on doing.
Yes.
Because see, that adjustment is more something, I would be adventurous and change that adjustment more than he would. So
actually, all my socks I changed to do toe up.
Oh, well then, excuse me.
All my socks.
You, sir.
I do that.
Do you.
Okay, so the yarn, as I said, the yarn whisperer. This yarn is wildflower. Look at this wildflower. Can't even see much because they got the sticker all across of it. And it's called bluegrass. So I call this my Christmas sock because it's so Christmassy.
Okay.
So it's wildflower.
But this is not a Christmas sock.
No, but it will be by the time I get done with the other people.
You think I only got one at a time?
I only got this is my knit at knitting Saturday.
That's the social knitting.
Yeah, social knitting.
All right, okay, fine. Because this is unusual for him to have a sock on his needles this long. All right. So on to the next thing, which we have is acquisitions. Oh my goodness. For somebody who keeps saying they not gonna buy no more yarn, I'm not doing well, y'all. I'm really not doing well.
She lies.
I don't lie. I really believe it when I say it.
She lies.
I really believe, but I believe
she doesn't have the willpower necessary.
Anywho, so I went shopping at Frederick Fiber Fest because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
You're supposed to go around, support other vendors. I went into Frederick Fiber Fest looking for self-striping yarn. That was my goal out of it. And boy, did I find some. Boom! This is Appalachia Fibers. This bad boy is gonna keep somebody up at night. So it's 75-25 super wash. And it is, I believe, I will check and maybe put a note in the show notes. I believe this is glow in the dark yarn. I believe that this will glow in the dark. So, for somebody who doesn't like socks, now here, let me tell you my rationale with the self-striping is I don't really like the knit socks. I don't know why, but if I could just knit in a round, so I can knit a vanilla sock, 2-inch cuff, ribbon cuff, knit vanilla, maybe do a contrast color for the heel. I can do that. So this is my first Frederick Fiber Fest acquisition. My other one was I went over to Tempting You Yarns. They had a booth there, and I got this guy. I kind of as a dyer, I've been doing a lot of this color at the tip. So this is Oak. OOAK. That probably means something that I don't know what it means. And it is a 90-10 Merino Super Wash. So, and it's a big one. It's almost 500 yards. So this is from Tempting You. Then the next day from Fiberfest, we spent the night up there because we were exhausted after the show, and we just really didn't trust ourselves to try and drive home. Even though it's a relatively short drive, it's about an hour drive from our house to Frederick. We spent the night, and the next day we went to the Knot House in Frederick. Delightful little shop. Yeah. If you're in Frederick and you can go to the Knot House, I think you should. So I picked this guy up from the Knot House, and it is Life in the Long Grass. It is a 75-25 Merino fine sock, and its colorway is called Pewter. So I saw this guy hanging, and I was like, hey, you know what? I think you want to go home with me. So that is all of my Frederick acquisitions. So then, you want to talk? Let's talk about your Frederick acquisitions.
I have a question.
No.
You have all these sock yarn. You don't like making socks.
But I can make shawls. And I was listening to another podcast, The Yarniacs. If you don't listen to The Yarniacs, it took me a minute to adjust because they're an audio podcast. They're not a video podcast. Yeah. So they'll be describing their projects, and I'm like, I can't see it. So normally when I'm listening to it, I'll have my phone nearby so I can jump on Ravelry and look at the patterns. And they mentioned, I knew this, but they mentioned that they're moving into a season of their lives where they're like looking at their stash and really like, okay, what am I doing? And they started talking about, they have a bunch of sock yarn, they don't know what to do with it, and they started talking about holding sock yarn double to get a DK. And I was like, yes. Okay, I am going to do that because I have a lot of sock yarn, and you do this. You do this when you go to Fiberfest. You buy a single skein unless you really have something in mind. You buy one or two, you get it home, you loved it. Then it may or may not go with anything in your stash, which means another yarn purchase, but you don't want to do that. But let's talk about this guy. He's 500 yards. If I held him double, that's 200 yards of DK. That's a contrast color on a Colorwork sweater or the Butterbeer.
Yeah.
Look, so I am. That's where I'm going. I'm like, what can I hold double and make something else and use it in another project so I can get it out of my stash. So those are my Frederick acquisitions.
Okay, so for my Frederick acquisition, we ran into a very
love these people,
awesome vendor.
Love them.
And so they came over and fed us cupcakes. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second.
Listen, that's a good reason to love somebody.
Yes, feed me and you got my love forever.
Yeah, forever.
So Fully Spun was a vendor, very lovely, very funny. Came over, I went over and I was like, I'm going to make me a sock that I'm designing and I need a contrast in color. And so this pretty pumpkin teal, it is just completely gorgeous.
Oh, it's funny. You see what the colorway is?
The chief. The chief. So I am the chief, so I'm going to make these socks. And hopefully when I get it done, I will have it tested and all that good stuff. And it will be available for you to even look at it. Don't hold me to this, but it may take a while, so give me some time.
I'll crack the whip behind it. I'll be like, where is that song?
So this is I think this is my only this is my only purchase I did.
Where you get that from?
That's when we went.
Oh, well then
that's not yet. That's my only purchase from.
No, where'd you get that from?
That's when we went to
Cyberspace.
Yeah. Cyberspace.
Okay, then no, we're not talking about that because I didn't bring my Cyberspace yarn. Cyberspace is our local yarn store. All right, so then
you went away.
I went away.
Mm-hmm.
So a fun story about Terri is that I am a writer, and a bunch of writer friends of mine, we rent a beach house every October, and we go down and we write for a week. We bring a woman who doesn't write but cooks. She cooks for us. We fill the refrigerator up, bagels and stuff in the morning. We have dinner together at night. We're off the sound, so the back balcony, just seeing sound. Maybe I'll pop some pictures in to the Ravelry thread. It is a gorgeous view. So I went down there and I popped into the Blue Pelican, which is a yarn shop all the way down in Buxton. Mm-hmm. So if you go to Avon where we were, it's almost 40 minutes south, past Cape Hatteras, Buxton is. So it's a good bit. And like during that week, the goal is to write or to do whatever it is that you came for your writing career to plan, but you do want to go out and play a little bit. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go drive down to Buxton and I'm going to go to Blue Pelican. Now, I went to Blue Pelican because I was looking for something specific. I want to make another ranunculus. Remember I told you? We talked about my third one? But I wanted to make it in linen. So I went down and they had this yarn, which is Fiber Natura, and it's 100% linen. It is, I saw that on there somewhere. How many years we done? 137 yards. Mm-hmm. So, but it's a DK weight, which I don't really care. It's very thin, so I think we're being a little generous on whether or not this is DK. Yeah, so this will be my next ranunculus. I think it's going to be lovely and drapey. I just really been, and believe it or not, I actually do have a fiber allergy. Like this thing is itching. I just don't care. It doesn't itch enough for me to care. So I really wanted to wear a ranunculus with a short sleeve tee under it. I can't do that with wool because it will itch. But if I do it in linen, it won't itch as much. So I got myself some linen. I'm very excited to try this. Like this is really something I've been after for a while. Then I went up. Coming home, you got to go through Kitty Hawk. If you go through Kitty Hawk and you need a yarn fix, Knitting Addiction and Kitty Hawk, please stop in. Another lovely little shop somewhere we go. Every time I go there, I make it my business go to Knitting Addiction. Well, I went for something very special to me. Bruh. It's an Outer Banks bag. What are we really talking about? They posted a picture up on their Facebook page, and I was like, I must have it. So I called to the shop while I was down there. I was like, hey, do you have any more of those bags? You posted them a couple of months ago. And they said, oh, yeah, we'll hold one for you. Done. So I went up to get my bag.
Bag problem.
Yeah, I have a serious bag. Oh, I forgot one bag. So I seriously have a bag problem. And I got this. Very cute, very adorable. But I also bought some yarn, so more self-striping. I saw this and I really kind of was like,
she tricked me.
I think I should. I did trick him. So this is Cascade hand painted. The colorway is, I should have wrote that down. My bad, people. Color Londonberry. Oh, Londonberry? Londonberry looks like. Then I bought another skein of Cascade.
So this was my present that when she tricked me to give to me. This one is graphite, and actually I love it. It's hint of pink and purple and black and gray. So this will make a very wonderful sock for me.
And then I bought him more sock yarn. This is on Elite.
On Light.
What? Mm-hmm. That's not English. So there's that.
Actually German.
Yes, it is. So let's not talk. That's not trying to speak German unless you feel confident. Let's not try to speak German.
I'm good.
But that's his.
It's gonna make it again. Love the colors. Love it.
And it will be another self-striking sock. So we have these. So I mentioned bag problem. When I went to Frederick, I saw another bag.
How did you get the other bag?
I saw it in the booth next to me, and I was like, yeah, I gotta have it. As a matter of fact, they did the right thing. The ladies running the booth put it on and was walking around with it, and I was like, done and done. So this bag is from, I had the card, Star Knits. Alina Williams is the owner, so she makes the bags. They had some other really cute bucket bags and square bags. So it's pretty deep, but it's a backpack. Look at that. And it has a hook on it, and it has a zipper in it. So this has become my go-to bag. It's a little waterproof on the outside, so this has been my go-to. So I've been putting project bags in this bag and just using this as a backpack. I love it. I really do. It is a great little bucket bag. I almost wish I had gotten two. So there is.
One is definitely enough.
My bag. Okay. My last acquisition. Oh yeah, okay, talk about that.
So while we were there, when we went to Knot House. So I walked by and I picked this little thing. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. That's very unique. So it holds your socks. So your sons, I love them dearly, won't break your very fragile double pointed needles. So you open it and it holds everything in there, which is very awesome, and it's magnetic. So you don't have to worry about that. Ding.
Yeah, it was like. This thing is like, somebody was like, what can I make for Brian?
They had me in mind.
Like that, like this is such a Brian thing that I was just like, you have to get that. You have to have this because it's so you. So it is handcrafted.
Yeah, and it comes in different lengths. This is a 6 inch. They also had the 8 inches. I don't know why you need an 8-inch double pointed sock needle. I don't know why.
Well, Christmas socks and stockings. You would do a Christmas stocking on a heavier weight.
Yes.
I like a worsted. So yeah, you could put that in there. How about a tube cowl? So a flat tube cowl that you knit in the
ground? But those are normally thicker, not as thin as your sock, as your small, double pointed sock needles, and that's what I'm saying.
No. What do you mean? If you had a 6-inch case, you should be able to put 4 size 8 double point knitting needles in that case for your cowl that you're working in around. That's like, anyways, yeah. So that was really cute. So my last acquisition is from 3 a.m. Grace Designs. So they posted up that they were having a sale because they had a family crisis and they needed to raise money. It was on their Facebook page, so I'm not saying anything inside information that I shouldn't say. And they said, well, if you would buy something, it would be really great so we can handle this emergency. And I said, okay, I'm down for supporting people. So I go to their site. They have yarn, and I was like, oh, Lord, I can't do yarn. And I don't know if they do bags. I thought they did.
Yes, it did.
They did bags, and I was like, oh, Lord, I can't do more bags. Then I saw the unicorn. Okay, so I got a unicorn yarn bowl. Is that not the best thing ever? Listen, this thing is I was just like, oh my goodness. So what I did was I ordered it before I went on my trip to North Carolina. So when I got back, it was here, and I was like, what did I order? And I opened it up. I was like, a unicorn! So I am so excited about my unicorn ball.
Why?
It doesn't take much. Because I have a special affinity for unicorns. I told my kids when I was younger, I was so special when I was born that the hospital had a team of unicorns drive my bassinet from the labor and delivery to the nursery. So that just became a family joke that I'm a unicorn. So, or a park unicorn. And then when my son grew to be 6'6", I was like, yes, you are definitely part unicorn. So that is my unicorn bowl. So, we've been busy. We'll be busier. Christmas is coming, the holidays are coming, we're looking forward to all of that. Birthdays are coming. End of the year is just really bad for us with birthday. I don't know why people didn't pick other months. But something I get a lot when I start talking about the fact that my husband knits is that we approach knitting very, very differently. Like, because we are day and night, like how I shop for him, I pick something up and I hate this, and I buy it because I know I would not wear socks this color.
I would.
Yeah, but he would. So
yes.
we're very at different ends.
Yes.
Now the other factor in our knitting is we teach knitting. We started a knitting group on Saturday mornings, first Saturday of the month in our neighborhood, and we teach knitting. So one of the things that I feel like you should be doing if you teach knitting is you have to know more than one way to do things.
Yes.
So if somebody comes in and they're not grasping one way, you need to be able to switch up and learn a different way. So I learned how to knit English throwing very, very young. Then I learned how to crochet. Then I realized I went back to knitting throwing. Then I saw a video, Very Pink Knits. I've talked about this before. Very Pink Knits had a video where she was flicking. And I was like, I want to learn how to flick. So I taught myself how to flick. So he knits continental.
Yes. And continental, I understand continental because I grew up crocheting first. And with crochet, you hold the yarn in your left hand. And so when my wife taught me how to knit, which was very pleasurable, we can't talk about that on video, but when she taught me how to knit, she
never mentioned a private knitting session.
She showed me
what happens in knitting stays in knitting.
So when she taught me how to knit,
but he learned it.
And the first time too.
Yeah.
But,
yes. Okay.
When she taught me how to knit, she taught me how to throw. And so I'm looking at her, and it's like I'm looking in the mirror, so I'm seeing the reverse. Don't ask me why. I'm seeing the reverse. And so when I knitted her a sweater, and one of her friends like, "Do you know the stitches are backwards? They're twisted." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "No, I never noticed it." And so she came back home to show. She's like, "Brian, your stitches are backwards." I'm like, I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I'm just learning here. And so we went through this whole thing for a little while. And she's like, "So how do you knit?" And she's like, "Oh, that's why."
It was almost like he tried to combine throwing and continental. So continental, you just kind of scoop.
You pick.
But he was wrapping the yarn around the needle for when he went into the stitch and wrap and then pull it through. So it was giving him a twisted stitch. So that works for him. Yes. Continental works for him because he learned how to crochet first and had crocheted for a long time before he switched over to knitting. Mm-hmm. I learned how to knit first, and I knit throwing. So it just, I think, if you're going to start knitting or you're looking at your knitting, you need to just look at what works for you.
Right, and there's no right or wrong way. It's however it best fits you. And
know that sometimes if you know both ways, you can switch up for what worked for you, like what is a better fit. For instance, if I knit a long time, my hands start to ache. Well, I can switch to continental because it's less movement than throwing, and it's not as hard. And then I learned Portuguese knitting, which, you take the yarn around your neck, And that even gives me more rest. So just knowing that, but I guess I'm saying don't be afraid to try. Don't be locked into one way because that is the easiest way or the only way you knew.
Right.
Try something different because I don't think it's fair to say you don't like a thing if you haven't tried it yet.
Right.
It's like if you haven't put some time in. So Very Pink Knits also saw flicking and decided she wanted to flick, and it's in her. She tells the story in her flicking video, but she said I knit a whole blanket flicking. Because she said after this, if I don't like this blanket will prove whether or not this works for me. So she knit the whole thing. So maybe try that. Knit a whole pair of socks, continental if you're a thrower. Knit a whole pair of socks, flickering if you knit throwing. Switch it up, see what works for you. And if you come to the point where something doesn't work for you, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. The goal in this is to enjoy your projects. The goal is to have some joy in it. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's not supposed to be upsetting you.
Yes.
And even learning new techniques, that's not necessarily upsetting. You can learn without it being upset. But find what works for you. I love a long tail cast on. You can't. It's like I almost like every time I see a pattern that calls for a different kind of cast on than long tail. I'm like, oh, I love long tail. I never get it right. I always have a whole ball of yarn at the other end. But I love long tail. But I know how to cable cast on. I know how to do the knitted cast on. I know how to do the crochet cast on. I know how to do all of those. And I tried them all to find out what works. So in your knitting life, find out what works for you.
And another thing that's a very good resource, YouTube. Oh my God.
Yeah, like you can learn everything you need to learn.
YouTube.
Yes.
I was at dinner today and one of the ladies asked, how do you do the cable cast on? I said, you know what? Just to make sure, let's go to YouTube. And I taught her, I looked at it and said, here's how you do it. And as teachers, we have to be able, and if this is your profession, you have to be able to switch up wherever to teach other people.
Yes.
And it's about the person's preference, how comfortable they feel. And so I think we need to be comfortable with doing all different styles. Not necessarily your favorite, but it's about what helps the person and how much comfortable they feel with.
But if you're just the person out there knitting dishcloths,
yes,
knit your dishcloths and live your best life. Like don't even stress about, because I feel like sometimes we put so much stress on
profession.
What is everybody else doing, and I should be doing that. Like one of the worst conversations for me that I hear often is continental knitters knit faster. They do because they have an economy of movement. They let go of the needle less. Yes, they knit faster, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best way for you.
Exactly.
If you're not pressed about quickly making a garment, knit however you knit. I don't like Brian. When every time we do a knit along, he is finished like 2 weeks before I am. I could let that stress me out, or I could just continue to knit however I knit at the speed that I knit, and just enjoy the project. So find out what works for you. Try some new things. Be adventurous. Try on a small project. But do what you like.
And along that line, if you start a project and you're not happy with it, rip it out.
That's another podcast. That's another podcast. That's another podcast. That's a whole nother thing. Anyways, so I think that's all we have to talk about. Thank you so much for hanging to the end.
Yes.
I don't have any idea how long this video, depending on the angle of the sun, I'm thinking it's an hour. Could be more than that. But thank you for hanging to the end. Again, we are on social media at .hayneshouse.yarns on Instagram, Facebook, and Ravelry is at Haynes House Yarns. Please go join up, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get all the messages. Follow us in Ravelry, look for that group, and we will see you. Well, are you gonna do this with me again? I don't know.
It depends. You'll know later.
Anyways, we will see you again, and find what works for you and be
enjoy.
happy.
Yes.
Happy knitting.